Good evening. Saturday evening, 9 p.m. and we are live on Facebook. I don't know whether we have any viewers yet. It's not showing any viewers. We are a tiny bit late, but I hope our viewers are going to join us soon. We have 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐦𝐚 and Sandipan on screen, and I think I am getting 5 viewers all at once. Thank you everybody for coming. And I'm sorry we kept you waiting for 3 minutes. Some network issues, but here we are. 𝗤𝗏𝐬𝐺𝐻𝐚 Majumdar says good evening, and 𝐵 Ghosh says hello. Thank you everybody for coming. Gopa is also here saying hello. Well, good evening everybody. Welcome to the 4th episode of Cafe Conversations. We are here for some adda and some 𝗖𝗳𝗃𝗀𝗀, the heritage of pujas. Today is the first day of pujas, 𝗪𝗏𝗃𝗀𝗃, the start of Navaratri as it is celebrated in the rest of India. In Bengal, of course, we celebrate Durga Puja, the mother goddess. Shakti incarnates as goddess Durga, inculcating the purest power of all the gods to kill the asura named 𝗏𝗁𝗎𝗇𝗏. Durga is the amalgamation of powers given to her by the devatas, which are in the form of 10 different weapons in her 10-handed physical self. This, of course, in Bengal is Akal Bodhon, because the other Bashanti Puja is during springtime, and this is during Sharot. We all know the story of Sri Ram, invoking the goddess at this point of time, and it is called Akal Bodhon. We celebrate Durga Puja during this time. This is a time for celebration and great bonding. This year, we are also celebrating and bonding. Only we are doing it from our personal spaces in this whole online scenario. So let us bond together from different spaces, but here together. And I have a lot of comments, and let me read that out. Tonu Gatri says, good evening. Bishrup Gopa. Hussain ji says, Hussain Al Mamun says, good evening everyone from Sylhet, Bangladesh. Khub khushi hoyechi apni eschen. Thank you for joining us. Jhinuk Basu says, hello ma'am. Gargi Roy says, hello Didi. Shripriya Roy, Miss says, hello Miss. Pranam Nevin. Tonu Gatri says, you guys look bishon shundar. Thank you, Tonu Gatri. Pranay is here. Thank you, Pranay. Rajarshi says, I'm here. Hello, Rajarshi. Shripriya Roy, Miss Shripriya D says, my favorite student and another favorite person, my neighbor. Sarlaji says, hello, Ipshita. Gargi Roy says, gorgeous as usual. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining. And let me, without much more ado, have the pleasure of introducing my guests for the evening at Cafe Conversations. I have very, very celebrated people here today, and it's very difficult to introduce them in 2 lines. But here goes. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃 𝗏𝗏𝗃 Mukherjee, professor in the Department of Performing Arts, Presidency University. She has published widely on women's writings within varied cultured contexts. She also makes documentaries on various cultural traditions of Bengal. Sandipan De, corporate trainer and musician and a worshipper who seeks divinity through the expressions of poems, art, musical compositions, and humanity. And may I please see Sayan on screen? Sayan, can you please come a little right, I think? Yeah, we need to see Sayan. Hello, Sayan. Sayan Das, an aesthete of art and literature and a media connoisseur and digital marketer who paints the canvas with vivid hues. Sandipan and Sayan are co-founders of an art forum called TRIBUtaries, through which they bring forth beautiful compositions, blending their different art forms. Very honored to have you all here. 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗃, you are a paragon of knowledge, and I know cultural heritage is something special to both of us. Sandipan and Sayan actually worships through art. This evening, even as we talk, Sayan will be painting the whole time, and we shall see his creation, his worship, his celebration of the evening at the very end. So Sayan, tell us something about what you'll be creating this evening.
Yeah, so আজকে তো পুজোর আড্ডা, পুজো নিয়ে কথা হবে, ঐতিহ্য নিয়ে কথা হবে। তো আমি ভাবলাম আজকে যদি সেই সূত্র ধরেই মাকে উদ্বোধন করা যায় কালীঘাট পটের প্যাটার্ন অবলম্বন করে। সেখানে কলকাতাকে পাবো, কালচারকে পাবো, আমাদের ঐতিহ্যকে পাবো, এবং সঙ্গে সঙ্গে মনে হয় তোমাদের আড্ডার সঙ্গে একদম জমে যাবে ব্যাপারটা। So let's see what I can invoke to my canvas.
Darun, Darun. Of course, we are going to be talking about the heritage of pujas and কালীঘাটের পটচিত্রে মার রূপ আজকে প্রতিপদে দিবে। আমার তো শুনেই দারুণ লাগছে। একটু সকলকে হ্যালো বলে নি। পাপিয়াদি, পাপিয়া boss looking lovely. Pshita, Papiadi, thank you so much for coming. 𝗙𝗰𝗁𝗲 মুখোপাধ্যায় looking good. Everyone, all the best. আর কে আছে? গোপা বলছে looking gorgeous. Everyone, thank you. Acha, wow. How wonderful. Very warm welcome to you. Hussain Al-Mamunji bolchen, everyone is also looking very beautiful and an enthusiastic puja look. Greetings to all of you. Thank you. Greetings to you too. Rituparna Khan says great. Tanugatri says Shayan, all the very best. Shumali Dieshe, she's a singer herself, wonderful singer. Nice festive look and mood. Best wishes for the puja days and forever. To you too, Shumali. Prithviraj Roy says all the very best. তাহলে আজকের সন্ধ্যাটা আমরা সন্দীপনকে দিয়ে শুরু করি। সন্দীপন, I would request you to start off with this evening with your invocation.
সবাইকে প্রণাম, ছোটদের ভালোবাসা। এত দুর্জয়ের মধ্যে দিয়ে আমরা যাচ্ছি, সব জায়গায় এত কষ্ট দুঃখ, তাই এবার মাকেই ডাকা হোক যে মা এসে তুমি আমাদের কষ্ট লাঘব করো। সেই মাতৃ আরাধনায় ওম হ্রিং ব্রহ্মাণি ব্রহ্মলোকে চ वैकुण्ठे सर्वमङ्गला इन्द्राणी अमरवत्याम् अम्बिका वरुणालये यमालये कालरूपा कुबेरभवने शुभा महानन्दाग्निकोणे च वायव्यां मृगवाहिनी नैऋत्यं रक्तदन्ता च अश्यान्यां शूलधारिणी पाताले वैष्णवी रूपा सिंहले देवमोहिनी सुरसा च मणिद्वीपे लङ्कायां भद्रकालिका रामेश्वरी सेतुबन्धे विमला पुरुषोत्तमे विरजायोप्रदेशे च कामाख्या नीलपर्वते कालिका वङ्गदेशे च अयोध्यायां महेश्वरी वर्णस्य अन्यपूर्णा गयक्षेत्रे गयेश्वरी कुरुक्षेत्रे भद्रकाली व्रजकात्यायनी परा गलोकायं महामायं मथुरायं महेश्वरी शोधातं सर्वभूतानं वेरातं सगरस्व च नवमी शुक्लपक्षस्य कृष्णस्य एकादशी परा दक्षस्य दुहिता देवी दक्षयज्ञ विनाशिनी रामस्य जानकी त्वं हि रावणध्वंसकारिणी चण्डमुण्ड वधे देवी रक्तबीज विनाशिनी निशुम्भ शुम्भ मथनी मधुकैटवघातिनी विष्णुभक्ति प्रदा दुर्गा सुखदा मोक्षदा सदा जया मे जागृत पातु विजय पातु पृष्ठतः नारायणी शिरसदेशे सर्वांगे सिंहवाहिनी शिवदूती उग्रचंडा प्रत्यंगे परमेश्वरी विशालाक्षी महामाया कौमारी शंखिनी शिवा चक्रिणी जयदात्री च रणवत्तारण प्रिया दुर्गा जयंती काली च भद्रकाली महोदरी नारसिंही च वराही सिद्धिदात्री सुखप्रदा भयंकरी महारौद्री महाभय विनाशिनी इति ब्रह्मयामले ब्रह्मनारद संवादे आद्या स्तोत्रं समाप्तम्।
অপূর্ব, অপূর্ব লাগলো। Devi Durga is a form of Adi Shakti. The supremely radiant goddess, Goddess Durga, represents the supreme power and is worshipped in various forms, including Parvati, Bhairavi, Vaishnavi, Kali, Jagat Mata, Mahishashurmardini, Gauri, Chandi, and Uma. Devi Durga is known by 108 different names, just so much as she is Bhavamochani, the absolver of the universe, and Sarva Mantra Mai, one who possesses all the instruments of thought, and Surasundari, extremely beautiful. So she is Raudramukhi, one who has a fierce face like the destroyer Rudra. Ghora Rupa, having a fierce outlook, and Karali, the violent. She is both Praura, one who is old, and at the same time, she is Apraura, one who never gets old. After all, she is Bahula, one who is in various forms, both fierce, Chamunda, and loving, Kamala, both Sati and Kali. Yes, she is every woman, isn't she? Doesn't every woman have different aspects of her in her different rupas? I'm going to be reading a poem right now. This was actually inspired by the everyday Durgas that we see around us. Finding Shiva. Someone called her fire once. Fire? She wondered what that meant. And then she burned and she burned and she burned. Red orange flames licked her innards out till she shattered into 51 bits like Sati's decimated body. Dreams, desires, directions lay scattered. Adi Shakti grounded once more. Rummaging through it all, she found only ego, insensitivity, ploy, cunning that eons ago had caused the end of an era to Shiva's Tandav. Trudging along and alone, caught in drudgery, she kept burning incandescent. Her only refuge would be then, once again, to seek love in an eternal abode of truth, in her quest for finding Shiva, in her quest for finding Shiva, in her quest for finding Shiva. Pranay Gupta says, the festival is an inner integration of all our energies or Shaktis, an inner union, as it were, bringing together all one's mind, body, soul forces to move towards the union of Shiva and Shakti within, cosmic yet individual too. Rima Chatterjee greets us, and Shupriyadi says, Srimati Mukherjee, hope you will sing too. Rima Chatterjee says, my ma'am is here, SM ma'am. Rajashri says, fantastic. Rajuda, hello Rajuda, he's here. Sudeshna Banerjee is a very, very special guest. She's my childhood friend, she's my best friend, and she joins me all the way from Charlotte in USA. And this program was actually conceived many, many weeks, months ago, because she said, এবার তো নতুন জামা পরে কিছু করা যাবে না, চল তুই আর আমি নতুন শাড়ি পরে আড্ডা মারবো। So Jija, this is for you, my love. Gopa says, bah, অসাধারণ সন্দীপন. Raju, she says, thanks সন্দীপন. Raju does a namaste. Vishwarup says, খুব সুন্দর পাঠ. Tonu Gatri says, কি অপূর্ব লাগছে শুনতে. Rajuda says, সুন্দর. Sarlaji says, all looking in puja mood. Love festy. Thank you, Sarlaji. Rajeshi says, hi, Inam. And Sarlaji says, beautiful, Ipshita. Rajesh also says, fabulous, Ipshita. Thank you, everybody, my precious, precious guests. Thank you, all of you, for being here. And now over to you, Srimati Di. We can't wait to hear some information, words. I'm really looking forward to what you have to say.
Okay. But it will probably not be in the order that we decided, because I'd like to say a few things following what you just said, that the Devi, unlike the polarization of femininity, if you like, because feminine is cultural in the West, where you have Mary on one side and Medusa at the other end of the spectrum. a complete polarization of virtue and devilish qualities. But what struck me, I started reading the Chondi when I was like, I think 22 years old, and not really, wasn't really in a position to assimilate it or truly understand it, but I was struck by the paradoxical characteristics in the Devi. She is Biddarupe oti shoma, kintu abiddarupe oti bhishana. Okay, then she is obviously beautiful. She has Kama, she has Daya, she's Matri Rupena, and she has Shantosh. She has all these qualities. But at the same time, she also has Bhranti, Nidra, Khuda, and Trishna. Hence, I think the Chondi really goes back. Chondi is part of the Markandeya Puran, and the Purans, the date set for the Purans is from the 3rd century CE. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Absolutely, absolutely audible. Yes,
I'm getting
you're audible.
messages on WhatsApp. I don't know what people are trying to tell me. Anyway, so the thing is that the Puranas were composed between the 3rd century CE to the 10th century CE. Some people say that the Markandeya Puran goes back to the 3rd century CE, and in Bengal, there are references, textual evidence dating back to the 6th century CE, when Chondi or Durga was supposed to have given Raja Surat, I think you probably know that, 𝗖𝗳𝗲, saying that if he wanted agricultural prosperity, that she was the deity to be worshipped for general prosperity and agricultural prosperity. And in Bengal, I think we have a text that goes back to the 12th century CE, in which there is reference to Durga Puja. Now, but so that's just a little bit of the psychological and historical. But what really gets me about Durga Puja are the sound universes. Being an urban person, I really do not have a clue about the autumnal harvest festivals. Actually, Durga, if Durga, it's very possible that the Prakriti that is spoken of in Shankha philosophy, you see, human beings cannot really enjoy anything unless they make it anthropomorphic. Okay, abstract principles are fine, but it's only when we poeticize them and make them accessible through the senses, through form, color, chando, gan, and dance, that they become deities to us. So it's no coincidence that during the pujas, you have this massive efflorescence, of this massive outburst, you could say, of all that is celebratory in our culture. And it's a unifying thing. I mean, it's Durga Puja in Bengal, but it's Navratri in the rest of India, as you said. And I think the Pallavas and I don't know about the Guptas, maybe the Guptas also, that the Durga was worshipped along with Rama, is it? For defeating the demonic force of the Asura. So, where are you, 𝗖𝗳𝗲? So the thing is that for me, you're there. So for me, how am I doing time-wise? You have to tell me that, because I can go on and on. So
I think we will come back to you again, Srimati Di. It's a wonderful historicity. You gave us the historical perspective of Durga Puja and the celebratory mode. But I'm now going to request Sandipan to come on screen. And Sandipan, এবার তুমি কিছু শোনাও। I can see Shayan's, it's beautiful, it's forming, but এবার সন্দীপানকে একটু কিছু স্তোত্র বা গান শোনাতে বলবো।
The time that we are going through is basically very turbulent, very weird, I should say. So I just remember a song which generally Bhava Pagla composed, a song of complete surrender, a complete saying to the divine that, Ma, I'm leaving everything on you. You are going to handle everything now. I believe that Ma, who is Anandamoyi, can never keep her sons and daughters in Nirananda. Jar ma Anando সে কি নিরানন্দে থাকে যার মা আনন্দ এসব প্রাণের কথা প্রাণে রাখি প্রাণের কথা প্রাণে রাখি এ কথায় আর বলবো কারে যার মা আনন্দ মনের সুখে ঘুরে বেড়া আমার যা জুটে মা তাই খাই মনের সুখে ঘুরে বেড়াই আমার যা জুটে মা তাই খাই মাঝে আমার অন্ন পূর্ণা মাঝে আমার অন্ন পূর্ণা তিনি অন্ন জুটিয়ে রাখে যার মা আনন্দ ভয়ের লেশ নাই শরীরে মা 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 ভয়ের লেশ নাই শরীরে মা মাঝে ভবার সর্বঘরে ভয়ের লেশ নাই শরীরে মাঝে ভবার সর্বঘরে দূর করে দেয় দূর করে দেয় সকল বিপদ দূর করে দেয় সকল বিপদ মুখ ভরা মা 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 ডাকে যার মা আনন্দ সে কি নিরানন্দে থাকে। So we pray that Mother won't keep us unhappy. She will provide for us. She will love us. She will hold us.
সন্দীপন, তোমার গান না আমাকে একদম ঠাকুর দালানে ট্রান্সপোর্ট করে দিয়েছে। আমি এখন একটা বেশ থাম্বাওয়ালা ঠাকুর দালানে বসে বিভোর হয়ে আমার সামনে তোমার গান শুনছিলাম। সেটাই তো ম্যাজিক, আর সেটাই তো হচ্ছে, তাই না? আজকের ইন দিস হোল প্যান্ডামিক টাইমস আমাদের তো সুন্দরভাবে মা দুর্গা তাই তো হচ্ছে। আজকে প্রতিপদের দিনে মাকে গয়না পরানো হয়, মাকে সাজানো হয়, আমরা তো তাই করছি বটে। আর সন্দীপন গান করছে আর আমরা সকলে মিলে আড্ডা মারছি। একটু বাকিদেরও হ্যালো বলে নি। রোশনি আছে আমার কলেজে জুনিয়র, প্রচন্ড মিষ্টি মেয়ে, আছি বলছে। ইনাম is here, very very old friend and a wonderful poet. He says greetings to all. Manjula Di. Manjula Di is very special, my school senior and an absolutely gorgeous human being in every way. Fantastic human being and a fantastic organizer, leader of All Ladies League. Manjula Jain, good evening. Sarla ji, very very special. Sarla ji says, "Khub bhalo lagche Srimati Di." Sarla Balachandran ji. Wow, Sarla ji, that was wonderful. Gopa says, "Khub bhalo lagche Srimati Di." Gargi says, "Ami achi." Hello, Gargi. Vishwarup is wonderful learnings from Srimati. Tanugatri says, "Absolutely overwhelming to be part of this event. We're so happy you're here, Tanugatri." Manjula says, "Looking so pretty." Thank you, Manjula Di. Rajeshi says, "Painting is turning out to be fabulous." And Vishwarup says, "Beautiful." Shandipan. Shumana Shumi says, "Bah, Bangla চর্চা সুন্দর." অনেকেই সন্দীপনকে খুব ভালো বলেছে। সন্দীপন তো সত্যি খুব ভালো। এছাড়া আর কি আছে? Shiju sir, hello Shiju sir, thank you so much for being here all the way from Oman. A leader of motivational strips, the world's most active literary forum. And Hussein Al Mamunji says, "Wonderful to listen to Professor Srimati Mukherjee. Congratulations. I'm delighted to join and learn many things. Lovely event indeed. We are delighted that everybody is here from so many different continents." Bishwarup says, "Shundor. Bah, congratulations," says Sarlaji. My mother says, "Bah, khub shundor gan." Thank you, Ma, for joining us. Manjula Jain ji says a namaste. Saurav says, "Khub shundor." Sudeshna says, "Hi, pretty Mashi. This is Hiya. Hiya's my goddaughter." Mwah! Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally missing you, but we'll connect very soon after this. And someday we will do this together, really, in a Puja Dalan together. Acha, তাহলে সপ্তমী, অষ্টমী, নবমী এই তিনটে তো বাঙালি প্রাণের দিন, তাই না? These 3 days are days that people of Bengal, everybody who resides in Bengal and everybody who's a Bengali at heart look forward to. Mahasaptami. Mahasaptami is synonymous with Kolabo. But what is Kolabo? It is actually Navapotrika, the leaves of 9 plants used during Durga Puja. Popularly known as Lord Ganesh's wife, Kolabo in reality has no connection with Ganesh at all. Our scriptures call her Navapotrika. Interestingly enough, Navapotrika was actually a popular ritual performed by the peasant folks for the prosperous harvest. As idol worship was not common in those times, people worshipped Mother Nature. It was during the autumn, this time for reaping crops, peasants worshipped goddess Navapotrika for good harvest. Later, when Durga Puja became popular, the festival of Shoroth, all the 9 holy rituals of Navapotrika were added to the ceremonies of Durga Puja. In fact, Navapotrika represented the primitive form of Durga Puja. The 9 plants represent 9 forms of Durga. Most people who are not aware of Durga Puja rituals would have only noticed the banana leaf or plantain being carried to a nearby river and puja performed on Mahasaptami. But the plantain and 8 other plants are actually wrapped in the white sari. And this totality of 9 plants, so banana, the plantain, plus other 9 plants is what makes the Nobo, which means 9, Putrika. This is part of the Ghat Sthapun ceremony. The 9 plants that are used are plantain, kachu, turmeric, barley, wood apple or billo, pomegranate, ashoka, manaka, and dhan, which is the rice paddy. Banana with the stem and leaves of plantain symbolically represent the Brahmani. Kachi represents Kali. This plant, turmeric, haldi represents Durga. Jayanti represents Kartiki. Wood apple or billa represents Shiva. Wood apple is, we refer to it as Belpata, Billapatra. Pomegranate, Vedana, represents Raktodontika. Ashoka represents Shoka Harita. Manaka, also known as Arum, represents Chamunda. Rice or paddy represents Lakshmi. So it's an amalgamation of the different forms of Durga. Mahashtami or Sandhi Puja. An integral and important part of Durga Puja, Sandhi Puja is performed at the juncture of the 8th and 9th lunar day. Sandhi Puja lasts from the last 24 minutes of Ashtami till the first 24 minutes of Navami. During this juncture, the Shandhikan, Durga is worshipped in a Chamunda form. Devi Durga killed Chando and Mundo, the 2 asuras at Shandhikan, and thus acquired the name Chamunda. While the goddess and Mahishasur were engaged in a fierce battle, the 2 generals of Mahisha, Chando and Munda, attacked the Devi from the rear end. Durga appeared to them, a brilliantly glowing woman with her hair knotted on her head, a crescent moon over her forehead, a tilak on her forehead, and a garland around her neck. With golden earrings and clad in a yellow sari, she emitted a golden glow. Her 10 hands possessed 10 different weapons. Though she appeared beautiful, her face turned blue with anger when she first Chando and Mundo. From her 3rd eye, there emerged a Devi with a large falchion and a shield. She had a large face, bloody tongue, and sunken, bloodshot eyes. She was Chamunda. With a blood-curling streak, she leapt forward and killed them. This moment was the juncture of the 8th and 9th lunar day. People perform Shandhi Puja by offering 108 lotus flowers to the goddess and fruits and rice grains for Noibiddo. Then 108 earthen lamps are lit in front of the idol of the goddess. This is a very important ritual of Shandhi Puja. Then the worship continues with offerings of clothes, jewelry, flowers, bay leaf, and mantra to the goddess. Sandipan, may I request you to come and আমাদের একটা স্তোত্র শোনাবে? আমরা সন্ধি পুজো নিয়ে কথা বললাম তো, একটা স্তোত্র শোনাও না।
তাহলে মা চামুন্ডাকেই স্মরণ করছি। जय कामेशी चामुण्डे जय भूतापहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते विश्वमूर्ते शुभे शुद्धे विरूपाक्षी त्रिलोचने भीमरूपे शिवे विद्ये कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते मालजये जय जन्ते भूताक्षी भूतिदीक्षये महामाये महाशनि कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते भीमाक्षी भीषणे देवी सर्वभूत भयंकरी कराली विकराली च कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते काली कराली विक्रांते कामेश्वरी हरप्रिये सर्वशास्त्रभूते देवी कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते कामरूप प्रदीपे च नीलकूट निवासिनी निशुंभ शुंभ मतनी कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते कामाख्यो कामरूपस्ते कामेश्वरी हरप्रिये कामनां देहि मे नित्यं कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते कामेश्वरी नमस्तुते।
Pah, Apurvo. Mahanavami. With her golden body blazing with the splendor of 1,000 suns, seated on her lion vehicle, Durga is one of the most spectacular of all personifications of cosmic energy. Devi, in her Saumya or benevolent form, looks serene and powerful. Navadurga, which literally means the 9 forms of goddesses Durga constitute, according to Vedic scriptures, the manifestations of Durga in her 9 different aspects. These 9 forms of manifestations are Shailaputri, daughter of the Himalayas; Brahmacharini, one who observes the state of celibacy during penance; Chandraghanta, one who bears the moon in her necklace; Kusumanda, the creator of the universe; Skanda Mata, the mother of Skanda Kartikeya, born out of her powers; Kattayani, the daughter of sage Kattayana, who incarnated to help the Devas; Kalaratri, black as the night; Mahagauri, the wife of Lord Shiva during great penance; Siddhidatri, provider of siddhis, giver of mystic powers. First is the goddess of inspiration. Second, the goddess of sacred study. Third, the goddess of delight and practice. The goddess of purifying austerity is the fourth. Fifth is the goddess who nurtures divinity. Sixth is the one who is ever pure. Seventh is the god of the light, dark night, of overcoming egotism. The goddess of the great radiant light is eighth. Ninth is the goddess who grants perfection. The 9 Durgas, relievers of difficulties, have been enumerated, and these names have been revealed by the great soul of the Supreme Himself. A lot of people here watching along with us. Manjula D says, love the concept of painting here. Kunjika is a very favorite poet of mine. She's just launched her first book. She's all of 17, but a poet mature beyond her years. Gopa says, to Shayan, the painting is turning out to be fabulous. Bisharup says, fantastic. Ipshita, thank you. Sangeeta D is here. Sangeeta Jaisingh Bafuli says, lovely. Amit Roy is a brother of mine, says, wow. Gautam Da of ICCR says, beautiful presentation. Thank you for coming, Dada. Amit Roy says, kya baat. Really delighted. Bisharup says, wonderful, Shandipan. Amit says, proud of you. Thank you, bhai. And Sangeeta Di says, beautiful concept. And Bisharup says, wonderful presentation. And now over to you, Srimati Di. Srimati Di, request করবো আপনি একটু চিন্ময় থেকে মৃন্ময়, আপনার ভারী সুন্দর লেগেছিল কনসেপ্টটা, একটু বলুন না আমাদের সকলকে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, আমি ওইটাই বলছি। সেটা হচ্ছে যে অ্যাবস্ট্রাক্ট ফিলসফিকে কংক্রিটাইজ না করতে পারলে, অ্যানথ্রোপোমরফাইজ না করতে পারলে, it doesn't become a source of pleasure and happiness. We're always looking for happiness, you know, and that is why myth, that is why storytelling, we want to create stories around cosmic realities. Okay, so what I find most dramatic honestly about this entire drama of the Devi coming, and then in the background her killing of the Asura, is that if you've heard Birendra Krishna Bhadra's invocation of the deity, he says Parama Prakriti তাকে আবাহন করা হচ্ছে চিন্ময়কে মৃন্ময়ী রূপে আবাহন করি, consciousness in the form of mud. Now for me that's colossal, because the earth is truly our first mother. Everything that we know about ourselves we know through the earth. And think of this entire transformation that takes place. I mean, you have art entering it, you have artistry entering into it, you have imagination. I once interviewed 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐦𝐵 who has created murtis for, I think, Tridhara and also Mudiali, and he said that it's a question of taking elements of the earth and fashioning it into, using your imagination to fashion something beautiful out of it. But in the return of Mrinmoy, there's a poem by Keats called Sleep and Poetry, in the last line of which the poetry of earth is ceasing never. And I had a friend, Sharmishta Mohanty, who wrote this incredible line that it is the earth that throws up the truest metaphors. So that is the thing, that this entire celebration becomes possible because we have earth around us. It's earth that makes a cosmic idea tangible and allows this intricate network of festivities, professions, activities, and so on to unfold. And then the other part of the cycle, the death, if you have the life motive here, you also have the death motive, because then you have Chinmoy to Mrinmoy, so then Mrinmoy becomes Chinmoy through Sandhi Pujo, during Sandhi Pujo, and so on. And then ultimately she becomes mud again. So the entire cycle of life and death is lived out in Durga Puja. That is one. And it is also a festival of light, Light. Think of the numerous songs Rabindranath has on light. Alo Amar Alo Ugo, the miracle of light. Sharot Tomar Orun Alor Anjali. But now I'd like to draw your attention to another aspect of light that I have found in the Chondi. That is, as an aspect of her beauty, the Stotra says, she is like Jyotsna Rupena, Chandra Rupena. So that's another aspect of light. And then if those of you who are familiar with Rabindranath's song, Jage Natho Jochona Rate. So Jochona or Jyotsna or moonlight can be worshipped as divine. And there's another song by Atul Prasad Sen, Amaru Porano Kotha Jai Dure, where he says, there's a line, Jochona Potho Tar Dekhai Dure. So what I feel is that once again we are going back to nature, that Durga Puja is integrally comes out of nature, goes back to nature. It's this magical nature-culture combination that allows us to expand our minds and express our creativity and extrapolate imaginatively. Look at the numerous names she has. And the point that I really wanted to start out with is the Shabda Brahma. Rhetoric in Western aesthetics and dhoni in our Eastern aesthetics. Sound, the inexplicable sound. Ki dhoni baje gohono chetona maje. It's a song by Rabindranath. That, sound is inexplicable. Sound predates sight. The child hears sound inside the womb. So the mystery and magic of sound, these mantras, for instance, Dustar Bhavushamudra Karini, Shakti Rupini, Srishtikotri Khati Rupini, Krishna Varna, Dhumra Varna, Durga Devi Ke Shatata Pranam Kuri. When I was a kid, I didn't understand all these things, but the sounds provoked me. When Rabindranath first heard the Gayatri Mantra, I mean, he was not that inclined into he didn't really know Sanskrit then, but because he was this artist, this incredible sound artist, he said he would roll the mantra, keep saying it till he exhausted all the sound implications in the mantra. See, that's how magical sound is. Words, because that's music. Like Sare Gama Pada Ni. Can you say what Ni really means? It only suggests something. So I'll say in Durga Puja, the inexplicable, that's also there. And let's also look at women and think about, let's not push women too far so that they get so angry. Really, I mean that very seriously. And also to think whether it is only in myth that we can accommodate the Mardani aurat. About Jhansi Rani, there's a line, Mardani wo aurat thi. So the thing is that let's ask ourselves how comfortable we are with this question of the Mardani aurat.
That's a lovely concept, Srimati. First and foremost, chants, taito, awaz, sound. So I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you brought that concept up. And yes, all for the power woman. And power woman does not mean that the power woman is not soft-hearted or kind. But well, she needs to be powerful. And I have my cousin sister who joined me from Dubai, 𝗖𝗳𝗲𝗄𝐿 Ghoshal, who's just written a beautiful piece. I think she posted it today on exactly that, right, Choto? Thank you, Choto, for coming. She says, excellent, sis. And I think your daughter is here, Priya Mukherjee Kampf. She says, yay, this is amazing. And she says, hi to you, Srimati Di. And there is so many other comments. Where Vishwaroop says, wonderful narrative and interpretation by Srimati Di. Indeed, Vishwaroop, that is so true. Amit Roy says, কত কিছু জানার আছে. Thank you. সত্যি তো তাই, কত কিছু জানার আছে. Durga Devi, Triguna Adhishthatri. In Shankha philosophy, a guna is one of the three tendencies or qualities: sattva, rajas, and tamas. This category of qualities has been widely adopted by various schools of Hinduism for categorizing behavior and natural phenomena. The three qualities are sattva, the quality of balance, harmony, goodness, purity, holistic, constructive, creative, positive attitude, luminous, serene, peaceful. Rajas, the quality of passion, activity, neither good nor bad, but sometimes self-centeredness, egotistic, individualizing, driven, moving, dynamic. Tamas is the quality of imbalance, disorder, chaos, anxiety, impure, destructive, delusion, negative, dull, apathy, inertia, violent, vicious, ignorant. The three Devis worshipped embodies these gunas. Saraswati Devi, sattvic, creation of the universe. Lakshmi, sustenance and wealth. Mahakali, vanquishing obstacles, destroying the enemy. It is within Devi Durga that all these three gunas culminate, and she embodies a balance of all these qualities. She is therefore Triguna Adhishthatri Devi, Vijaya, Visarjan. Where are we sending Devi for Visarjan? We are sending her from the outside to within ourselves. Here is a poem that I had scribbled, Mama Antaram. And she comes from the river of the universe to the river within us. Prana, she flows, this flow of life, drop by drop that builds it up. This cosmos till you and I disappear, a microcosm, a particle in this cosmic play. Jiva, Shakti, Brahmani, Chamunda, Kamala, Bhuvaneshwari, she who is all of it. She alights within us and goes within our hearts. 𝐒𝐫𝐞𝐞𝐦𝐚 Mama Antaram. Srimati Di, will you tell us about the genesis of 𝗏𝗏, as in Pujo and 𝗏𝗏, the Utshab part of Durga Puja, the genesis of the celebrations of pujas?
In Bengal, right? In Bengal. In
In
Bengal.
Bengal, the genesis of celebration of
Yeah.
Durga Puja in
Okay.
Bengal, yes.
So I've used this book. I'd like everyone to see it. It's an excellent book by Rachel Fell McDermott, published by Columbia University Press, called Revelry, Rivalry, and Longing for the Goddesses of Bengal. It's such a brilliant piece of work. Anyway, 𝐭𝐤𝐢 Narayan, 1583, Jomidar of Teherpur Rajshahi. He instituted the first public worship of Durga. 1690, Shabana Rai Chaudhuri, who gave Kolkata to the East India Company. 1790, Govindaram Mitro, the first Raja, Jomidar. Raja and a Raja to kena jeto, you didn't have to be born a Raja. So, and Durga is intimately linked with kings, winning battles and also agriculture. So then you have, Raja Krishna Chandra of Nodia, who also was probably, very much in the front ranks of holding public Durga Pujas. Now, you know about Nawab rule in India, so that there are conflicting opinions about whether the Nawabs were for Durga Puja or weren't, or the Jomidars were scared to flaunt their wealth, whether they had wealth, etc. Then what happens, which is interesting for us today because we are in the 21st century, is that in the 19th century, from the late 18th, mid 18th to 19th, there grew a class of entrepreneur Bengalis. Okay, I have their names written down here. Akrur Datta, who owned the first shipping line, Radhanath Bosu-Mollik, who was the moving force behind establishing the Hooghly dockyard in 1842, Gurucharan Pramanik, who sheathed the bottoms of ships with brass, and Kailash Bose of Hatkula, who was, he began or whatever steam communication on the Hooghly. So you see, Durga Puja, because she's always been linked with wealth and power, this is the way the new rich, the nouveau riche, it was their way of entering culture as an important marker, important signifier. You earned aristocracy. Bonediana was no longer something that was handed down from father to son or grandfather to grandson, but something you could buy through hard work. And they had very elaborate displays of wealth in their houses. Officials of the East India Company would go till the East India Company was not taken, till the government didn't step in 1858. And there was also a lot of feeding of Brahmins and poor people, a lot of dan, and giving of alms. And so that is basically the entrepreneur class in Calcutta, Bengali entrepreneur class, who would have their pujas in their Thakur dalans with the Kathamo pujo, the wooden thing, which would be consecrated during the time of Jagannath's Ratha Jatra. And what can I say? You had the three ends, you had to, the three ends were Nilkantha Pakhi. There was a ceremony of releasing Nilkantha Pakhi. Then there were two other ends, which I made a note of, but can't remember right now. So the Nilkantha Pakhi, I remember, I had once interviewed a gentleman of the Hatkula Datta family regarding this. And he said that this was a trend in their family, that Nilkantha Pakhi used to be released on Navami or possibly on Navami. And as 𝗖𝗳𝗲, when 𝗖𝗳𝗲 was mentioning the Navapotrika, there are instances where English band parties would accompany the bathing of the Kolabo, all the 7 things on the Ganges and so on. So I suppose this trend still carries on. But I would say that standing where we are today at the confluence of so many socio-historical health factors, we should try to reinterpret what aristocracy means, how we can reframe it, and what the aristocrats, I mean, in whatever form, what they can give back to society. So yes, Durga Puja, that was the time. Everything is historical. It was a very, very vibrant form of, very vibrant form of declaring. That's not correct, vibrant form of declaring, but it was making a strong statement about your wealth, and philanthropy was also linked to it. But I think those traditions have declined. There isn't so much wealth around generally. And those who are now becoming rich are entering the ranks of the Bonedi through their wealth. They should think of ways of giving back to society in a celebratory manner.
That's a very, very pertinent message, Srimati Di. Bonediana or anything needs to be evolved. It needs to evolve. That is something which is very close to my heart. That how do we actually live our legacy and yet contemporize it? So true. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that insight. And হ্যাঁ নীলকণ্ঠ পাখির গল্প আমিও শুনেছি ছোট বয়সে। নীলকণ্ঠ পাখির সিগনিফিকেন্স ছিল, বনেদিয়ানার একটা একটা অঙ্গ ছিল যে অনেকদিন নীলকণ্ঠ পাখি। নীলকণ্ঠ পাখি আমি বলছি কেন, আমি I remember, I just suddenly remembered, my grandparents must have told me, or my mother must have told me, নীলকণ্ঠ পাখি নবমীর দিন এই কারণে ছাড়া হতো যে শিব ঠাকুরকে পার্বতী মানে মা দুর্গা বার্তা পাঠাতেন। তো নীলকণ্ঠ পাখি flew to heaven to tell Shiva to come bring me back. সেটা সিগনিফিকেন্স ছিল নীলকণ্ঠ পাখি।
একটা কথা বলবো 𝗖𝗳𝗲, I just want to say one that the expression of life that we see in Durga Puja, please forgive me for saying so, but it's a very Bengali thing. I mean, the intensity of art that you get in the imaginings of even the tiny details of the chalchitra and of various aspects of the deity. And then, of course, she's immersed and it all goes. But that the Bengali nation cannot stay without music, poetry, and beauty. Durga Puja is really a fabulous testament to that. And this is just something very personally and intensely felt that I'm sharing with you, that as myth is an expression of our storytelling instinct, all human beings across all cultures, these beautiful, the extrapolating or the extension of myth into various forms of rituals, beauty, this is a very primal way, very primal response of the human being to life, and where a magnificent kind of union between nature and culture takes place.
So true. Ato aspect, there's so many aspects to Durga Puja. You mentioned chalchitra, you mentioned the paintings. There's malakar, jara sholar kaj kore, goynar kaj kore, kormokar, jara thakur gore. And normally they also have a certain generational legacy between them. There's so many aspects of Durga Puja. There's no end to this conversation. But then that is Bengal, that is also India, because India is so culturally diverse and so culturally rich, with so many mythological manifestations. I mean, I think we are very blessed to be part of this.
Yeah, to be Indian, to be Indian. Yeah, so blessed true. To be Indian. So yes.
True, to be Bengali, to be Indian, I think is a blessing. And I'll go again to our guest. Vishnu Pranay Gupta says, recipient, pithy, powerful, especially the art and music. Pranay also says, a wonderful hostess, always 𝗖𝗳𝗲 shine. Thank you, my dear Pranay. What else? Hussein Al-Mamunji from Dhaka says, excellent Professor SM, beautifully assimilated. Tagore and others' expressions, thanks a lot. Jinuk Batsu says, wonderful explanation, SM ma'am. Vishwaroop says, beautiful poem and rendition. Ipshita, thank you, Vishwaroop. Adhipda is my senior from college. Ipshita Ganguly, like the Puja look. Thank you, Adhipda. Vishwaroop says, good information by Srimati D and Shudiptada, a wonderful musician, wonderful human being. Mother transforming to a daughter, is it only in Bengal? Vishwaroop says, great information, Srimati D. I will go and to Sandipan and Sayan now. Let us see what they are doing. Sandipan, um, we are actually coming to the end of our program. All good things, it's been an hour, so all good things must come to an end. আড্ডা তো শেষ হবে না, কিন্তু তুমি ভাই একটা আমাদের একটা খুব সুন্দর তোমার গানের তো ঈশ্বর তো তোমার গলায়, তুমি একটা গান বা স্তোত্র যেটা শোনাবে শোনাও।
Sarada Vidyadani Dayani Dukhaharani Sarada Vidyadani Dayani Dukhaharani Jagata Janani Jwalamukhi Mata Saraswati Sarada Vidyadani Dayani Dukhaharani Dijiye Sudrishti Ma শুনেছি পুরাণে বেদাগম তন্ত্রে মা তুমি চিত শক্তি তুমি চিত শক্তি জীব প্রাণ যন্ত্রে তুমি জাগিবে মা কোন উদ্বোধন মন্ত্রে কে দেবে সে মন্ত্র বলো মা 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 জগ জননী জগ জানি महिषासुर मरादनी महिषासुर मरादनी ज्वाला मुखी चंडी ज्वाला मुखी चंडी अमर पददानी भवानी दयानी भवानी दयानी भवानी भवानी प्रथमं शैलपुत्रीति द्वितीयं ब्रह्मचारिणी तृतीयं चन्द्रघण्टेति कूष्माण्डेति चतुर्थकम् पंचमं स्कन्दमातेति षष्ठं कात्यायनी तथा सप्तमं कालरात्रीति महागौरी तचाष्टमं नवमं शीतविदात्रीति नवदुर्गा प्रकीर्तिता जागो जागो
just transports you to something else altogether. Sandipan, কিছু বলো, একটু কিছু বলো আজকের প্রোগ্রামের সম্বন্ধে, এমনি general. What is your message to everybody for Durga Pujas? Thank you for being with us, but একটু তুমি কিছু বলো. What is your message?
এবছরের দুর্গা পুজোটা একটা অন্য রকম। মানে আমরা এই যে জানলার মধ্যে দিয়ে যে কম্পিউটারের উইন্ডো দিয়ে একে অপরকে দেখছি, হ্যাঁ, এইটা একটা নতুনত্ব অবভিয়াসলি বিষয়। আর এইভাবেই আমরা হয়তো মানে ওই যে বলে না যে যাহা আছে ভাণ্ডে তাহাই ব্রহ্মাণ্ডে, ওই ব্রহ্মাণ্ডের এই যে কনসেপ্টটা যে আমরা ঠিক ঘরে থেকেও, নিজের ঘরে থেকেও আমরা যুক্ত ব্রহ্মাণ্ডের সাথে, এই যে ইউনিভার্সাল অ্যাপ্রোচটা, this universal approach that we are actually going through this pandemic and post-pandemic and the continuing pandemic. So let this be a kind of guide to open our windows, the inner windows of our consciousness, so that we can let in the whole universe within. তবেই তো বসুদেব কুটুম্বকম হবে, তবেই দুর্গাপুজোর আসলে যে মেন দুর্গাপুজোর কনসেপ্টটাই যে মা যে পুরো পরিবার নিয়ে আসেন, শিবকে লুকিয়ে, শিবকে হয়তো ফেলে আসে, কিন্তু প্রত্যেকটা সময় শিববিহীন কিছুই হয় না। তো শিবও আসেন কিন্তু মায়ের সঙ্গে সঙ্গে। ওই যে কথা আছে না, মা চলেন যেথায় যেথায় শিব সঙ্গে থাকেন সদায়, মা চলে যেথায় যেথায়। তো সেই শিব শক্তির কনসিয়াসনেসটা, let that reveal itself to us. Let we merge into that deluge of the conscious thinking of divine. আর আরেকটা কথা আমার খুব বলতে ইচ্ছে করছে যে এবার আমরা তো মহামায়াকেই এতদিন দেখেছি, কিন্তু এবছর মা আর মহামায়া রূপে আসছে না, মা অলরেডি এসে গেছেন মহামারী রূপে। তো সেই জন্য মায়ের ওই উগ্রতাটাও আমাদের বরণ করে নিতে হবে। নটরাজের তলায় একটি শিশুর মতন বাচ্চা থাকে, ওই ধ্বংসের মধ্যেও একটা নতুন সৃষ্টি, সেই আশা নিয়ে এই বছর মাতৃ আরাধনা করুক সবাই, সবাই সাবধানে থাকুক, এটাই হচ্ছে এবার মানে মূল মন্ত্র, যাতে সবাই সাবধানে থাকে। আর আমার কথা বলতে গেলে আমি তো এই সব নিয়ে রয়েছি, পুরো মার্চ মাস থেকেই আঁকা, গান এইগুলো নিয়ে ছিলাম। তো ইতিমধ্যে হঠাৎ করে একটা নতুন ইচ্ছা হলো, এই প্যান্ডেমিকের মধ্যে যখন একদম গাঢ় লকডাউন চলছে, so we thought of coming up with something for the YouTube, and thus we came up with something called Tributaries by Sayan and Sandipan. And it is not only my singing, Sayan's painting, it is we are trying to rediscover art through it. আর এবছর দুর্গাপুজোতে একটা নতুন ভাবে আমি পুজো সেলিব্রেট করার প্ল্যান করেছি, যে যারা আর্টিস্ট ইন দ্য সেন্স আপাতত যেগুলো কথা হয়েছে উইথ উইভার্স, টেক্সটাইল পিপল অ্যান্ড পটার্স, যাদের এই লকডাউনে কিছুই বিক্রি পাটা হয়নি, যাদের অনেক আর্থিক অনটন যাচ্ছে, যারা অনেকভাবে যারা এই প্যান্ডেমিকের মধ্যে নিজের কর্মস্থল থেকে বিচ্যুত হয়েছেন, এদেরকে একটু সাহায্য করার জন্য আমরা একটা ছোট্ট প্রজেক্ট শুরু করেছি শিল্ড বলে। তো সেখানে আপাতত কিছু উইভার্স আর কিছু পটার্সদেরকে নিয়ে we are trying to promote them, we are trying to promote their work so that they get whatever they want, at least পুজোর সময়টা যাতে ওই অন্নপূর্ণার কথা মেনে আর কি, যাতে আমার সন্তান দুধে ভাতে থাকে, তো সেই কনসেপ্টটাকে মেনে চেষ্টা করছি যাতে সবাই দুধে ভাতে থাকে। ছোট্ট প্রয়াস, এটা সবাইকার কাছে পৌঁছে দিলাম। আমাদের ফেসবুক পেজ ট্রিবিউটারিজ বাই সায়ন সন্দীপন, ইউটিউবের লিংক আছে ট্রিবিউটারিজ বাই সায়ন এন্ড সন্দীপন।
Excellent initiative, Sandipan. Khub sundor tor tributaries. I've also been part of it as a guest, and I will. That's a very beautiful thought. Manush pujoi to ashol pujo. আর আমি আগে শ্রীমতীদির কাছে যাব, আমি তারপরে সায়নের কাছে আসবো। সায়নের the paintingটা almost at an end, but সবার হ্যাঁ অপূর্ব এঁকেছে। আমি তার আগে কিন্তু কতগুলো কমেন্টস পড়ে নি। Priya Mukherjee Kam says this is so rich. I love the questions you posed about whether India can only accept a Mardani woman in Miss and not in real life. So true. That's a very, very important question indeed. Vishwarup says great voice, Sandipan. Indeed. Rajeshi says Apurvo. Great voice and rendition, says Vishwarup. Sayan, drawing of Ma Durga, fabulous. Great, Sandipan, beautifully done. Wonderful initiative, Sandipan. Srimati Di, apni, these are parting words. Amader already ekta 1 ঘন্টা 12 minutes, so we need to really cut it short now. Few parting words and a message. Gopalda says enjoyed the session. Thank you for being with us, Gopalda. Srimati Di, parting words for everybody for the Durga Puja.
Only one word: humility. That's all. At the end of, having gone through the years that I have on this earth, I've learned only one thing, and that's humility. And that's what we need to have. Think of it in every possible way that you can, but humility above all. That's all I can say. And yes, of course, carry on with your thirst for beauty. Beauty is always great. To pursue it at the level of the intellect, at the level of artistic expression, in rituals of living, in thoughts, in song. Yeah, definitely pursue beauty. That makes a lot of sense.
That's very beautiful, Srimati Di, and thank you for being part of this wonderful adda. And let me go and finally ask Sayan, একটু সায়নকে দেখা যাক কি দারুণ একটা মার ছবি এঁকেছেন আজকে আমাদের আড্ডার মধ্যে। সায়ন, একদম তোমার উপর ফোকাস করো, তোমার থেকে হচ্ছে ঠাকুর, তুমি যে ছবিটা এঁকেছো তার উপর ফোকাস করো। Can we just focus on the can we just close by? একটু সবাই দেখতে চাইছে। হ্যাঁ, এবার তুমি বলো, tell us what you felt about this program and tell us about what you've painted. অপূর্ব, আমার প্রণাম সকলকে। দারুণ দারুণ লাগেছে। তুমি বলো সায়ন, over to you.
ইপসিতা দি, প্রথমেই তোমাদেরকে অনেক অনেক ধন্যবাদ এত সুন্দর একটা আড্ডার আয়োজন করার জন্য। পুজো বলতে গেলে পুজোর ফিল গুড ব্যাপারটা তো এবছর পাচ্ছিলাম না, সো এরকম একটা আড্ডা, গান, কবিতা সবকিছু মিশিয়ে একটা ওই পুজো ভাইবস গুলোকে রেজুভেনেট করা যাচ্ছে। আর আঁকা নিয়ে বলতে গেলে আমি কালীঘাট পটের স্টাইলে যেটা করেছি, দিস ইজ টু ইনভোক দ্যাট পারফেকশন তো থাকে না, আর মা তো অ্যানিমেট ইনঅ্যানিমেট দুটো অবজেক্টেই আছে। তো পারফেকশনিস্ট ছিলেন না কালীঘাটের পটুয়ারা, যেভাবে তারা পেরেছে নিজেদের মতো করে মাকে উদ্বোধন করতে সেভাবে করেছিলেন। তো আমিও চেষ্টা করেছি আমার মতো করে মাকে উদ্বোধন করতে, মাকে জাগিয়ে তুলতে। আর মা তো আমাদের এখানে কন্যা
আচ্ছা,
সন্তান।
আমরা
মাকে
হ্যাঁ, সায়ন বলো।
মাকে কোলে বসিয়ে খাওয়ানো যায়, মাকে আদর করা যায়, মায়ের সঙ্গে বাদ বিবাদ করা যায়। তো মহিষমর্দিনী রূপটা না করে আমি ভাবলাম যদি মায়ের ঘরোয়া রূপটা করা যায়। তো মা এখানে আমাদের সঙ্গে বসেছিলেন আর আড্ডাও শুনেছে, গান শুনেছে, শ্রীমতীদির কথা শুনেছেন, ईप्सिताদির কবিতা শুনলেন। তো মাও খুব খুশি হয়েছে।
খুব সুন্দর বললে, অপূর্ব আঁকা। আমাদের পটে ঘটে দুর্গা, তাই না? পটে ঘটে দুর্গার তো একটা কনসেপ্ট আছে। দেখো, আমার মনে হয় এবছরের পুজোটা আরম্ভের থেকে অনেক বেশি ফোকাস অন দিস। আর তুমি তো পটে দুর্গা আমাদের করেই দিলে, এই তো আমাদের দুর্গা পূজা, তাই না? হ্যাপি পূজাস এভরিবডি। দ্য বিগেস্ট টেম্পল,
এভরিওয়ান, ভালো থেকো সবাই।
দ্য
সবাই
বিগেস্ট
খুব
টেম্পল
ভালো থেকো।
is our own Aadhar. আমাদের আধারটাই মন্দির, is ourselves. Worship the goddess within. Gaccha Devi Mama Antaram. Allow me to end with something that I have written, a few lines. Surrender. Surrender. To you, I surrender all that I am, that which is yours. To that prana which lives within me, I surrender myself to you. To you, the Param, the Brahman, the Shiva Shakti, the Jiva Shakti, to the Vishnu, to the Buddha, I surrender my love, my thoughts, my faith, my heart, my fights, my fears, myself. I give myself to you in this yajna of cosmic play, for you flow within me, and you are all that I am, the aham. Lead me then there, where there is only you, no sense of any other. Fill me with all that is you, where love is eternity, and I am one with you. Take me and lead me within you. Lead me to your love. Swaham. Om Tat Sat. Saham. Om Tat Sat. Saham. Om Tat Sat. This adda comes to an end today. From Sandipan, Sayan, Srimati and myself, সবাইকে শারদীয় শুভেচ্ছা জানাই। সাবধানে থাকবেন।
আমার তরফ থেকে শারদীয় শুভেচ্ছা। ईप्सिताদি, তুমি যে এইভাবে অর্গানাইজ করেছো একটা সত্যি পুজো পুজো ফিল, যেটা এতদিন ধরে আমরা মিস করছিলাম, সেটা রিভাইভ হচ্ছে আস্তে আস্তে। কিন্তু ওই ঘরে বসে ওই কোণে মনে এবছর পুজো করা। আর শ্রীমতী ম্যাম, ইউ স্পোক সো ওয়েল, so nice thoughts of Durga Puja, about everything gathered in a kind of nutshell, okay, and so well synchronized. So
একটা কথা বলছি, তুমি এই যে মন আর বোন এই কথা বললে, তো তুমি তো এত শ্যামা সঙ্গীত গাইলে, রামপ্রসাদের ওই গানটা আছে না, যতনে হৃদয়ে রেখো আদরিণী শ্যামা মাকে। মন তুই দেখ আর আমি দেখি, আর যেন কেউ নেই। যে মন্দির হৃদয় বলে, তার ভেতরে ভীষণ সাধনা করা দরকার, তবেই ওই লক্ষ জন্ম মানব জন্ম, লক্ষ জন্ম করে যে মানব জন্ম পেয়েছি, তাহলেই সোনার গৌরকে পাওয়া যাবে। এই
আজকে আমাদের আড্ডা তাহলে এখানেই শেষ করি, কারণ আড্ডা শেষ নেই। তবে লাইভ স্ট্রিমে অনেক আমাদের ভিউয়ার্স আছে, তাদেরকে সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানাই। ভালো থাকবেন, আনন্দে থাকবেন, সাবধানে থাকবেন। শুভ শারদীয়।